Okay, to start out, we are going to make our viewfinder. So, for our viewfinder, we're going to need some cardstock or construction paper, and I like to use white. So I've got an envelope of scrap white paper, so I'll just take one of those out. So I'll need that, and a pencil, and a ruler, and a pair of scissors. Now you don't need a huge ruler, but I just have a large one. And so we're going to make one that's 4 by 5 inches. So what we're going to do, take our ruler and line it up against one side with the 5. So we've got 5 inches here. I make a mark, okay? And then I do it again a little bit farther down. Again, I line it up with the 5 and I'll make a mark at the 0 point. Okay? So I have 2 marks, and they are going to be our 5-inch line. Just like so. Okay? So now we're going to find our 4, and we're going to turn our paper and draw a mark at the 4. So here's my 4. I'm going to have 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I draw a mark. And I'll do the same thing. This time I can actually use my 5-inch mark. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches in. And I'll do the same thing. I'll draw a line on that 4-inch mark. Okay? So now we have a perimeter that is 4 by 5 inches. Next thing we do is cut that part out. So now I have my 5 by 4 inch paper, and I'm going to draw an inch along the inside. Okay? So the only one we're looking at is this inch right here. That's all we need. So on one side, gonna make a mark close to the edge, and then I slide my ruler down and make another mark. Okay? Then I draw a line. Line it up against my marks. Draw that line. These don't have to be heavy lines, just so that you can see them. Say same thing. I make 2 marks and then draw a line. We're going to do this with every single side of this paper. Next thing I need to do is you should have a rectangle here in the middle. What I want you to do is draw an X, because we don't want that rectangle in there. So you remember what we want to keep is actually this outside edge. Okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is you take your paper with one hand and then you kind of just ever so slightly fold it so that you've got like this hollow inside. You don't want to actually pinch it so that it folds the sides, but we just want it to be a little bit folded, like so. And then you take your scissors and you take one slice like so, and then you will have a little hole for you to work with. You stick your scissors inside and you find the inner line. Cut right up to that inner line, if you can see that. Then you're going to cut along that inside line. And there you have your viewfinder. And now we're ready for the next part of our project. So now we need to look at our flowers. Okay, and kind of look at the flowers that you have and choose one that you think is the most interesting or the the one that you want to draw and paint with paper. So I'm going to look at these, and I think I like this yellow one right here. Pull out this one. And I set the rest of them aside. And of course you can do these with real flowers too. I just have some fake ones, so those are the ones I'm going to use. Okay, so now there's my flower, and this is what I'm going to work from. I'm going to set it just ahead of me there. Now I can take my viewfinder and I can kind of find out where I want the sides of my flower to be. Now remember, we talked about wanting the flower to take up at least 3 sides of your image. Now if you think of your viewfinder, you're going to think of your paper as being these 3 sides, okay? So I want the flower to take up at least 3 sides of my whole image, my whole picture, okay? And if I can kind of show you that a little bit, you can kind of see how that works. Of course, if I get closer to it, you can see more, and then less of it there. See how that works? Okay? So, there we are. Set that in place. Okay, so I'm going to choose my color for my bottom part. So there's my construction paper base. Then you take your scrap papers and you choose some colors that you're going to need. So I've got my colors chosen. Now I'm going to draw the outline of my flower. And this is where the viewfinder comes in handy. So I can set it in place and draw where I want it to be. And this is what I ended up with. It's a pretty simple sketch. I don't know if you can see it very well, but all we want is a simple little sketch so that you know where the sides of your flower are going to hit the sides of your paper. Okay? So now here comes the fun part. I'm going to get out the glue, and of course when you're using glue you always have to remember cover your surface area, because even I make accidents. We all make accidents, and we want to make sure that we don't get any on our table.